Hey, this is TV Crazy Man. I've been collecting TV goofs for a while now, and today I look at the funniest superhero goofs that I've found so far. Both unintentional mistakes and a few intentional goofs, like when the greatest American hero, who can never catch a break, falls flat on his back after he tries to knock down a wall with his head. Wonder Woman is not dumb. Sometimes she'll use a car jack in order to lift a heavy vehicle. I mean, why strain her back? Sometimes, these goofs are not hilariously funny, they're just subtly funny. Like when you realize the $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman just jumped over a fence, but they used a ladder to do it.
Have you short-circuited Batman's brain?
This next series was in itself a goof, the whole thing.
Come on, Robin, to the Batmobile!
The Legends of the Superheroes could have been fine as a Saturday morning series. I mean, as a kid, I thought it was super neat, but as a potential primetime series, it was the cheapest thing ever broadcast. Maybe it was intended as a couple of specials, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I do know Adam West regretted being involved. For nostalgia purposes, it's fun, but boy, is it goofy. The only thing it really has going for it is Adam West and Burt Ward. They didn't even get the original Captain Marvel from the Shazam series, either one of them. They did get Frank Gorshin as the Riddler, which was cool, but boy, was this show cheap looking. The Saturday morning Shazam series was way ahead of it in quality, and this was prime time. If you'd like me to do a video on it sometime, let me know in the comments below. Here's one everybody remembers, where Superman has been shot at with no effect. He decides to duck when the bad guy throws the gun in frustration. This was actually Reeves' stunt double, Dale Van Sickle, who ducked. This mistake happened in The Mind Machine. Of course, normally Superman would not duck when the bad guy throws the gun at him. In this one, I think the Hulk is disco dancing. Hulk, staying alive, Hulk is staying alive. In this episode, Superman is flying through the ocean to stop a torpedo. The sound effect is the same whooshing sound as when he flies through the air. That whole scene is, for me, the worst scene from the entire series. Looks like Superman is flying inside a toilet bowl, or big sink. Batman is supposedly to take his cape off. And then there was the time the Incredible Hulk got in a fight with this big bear, and somehow the green came off of the Hulk onto the bear. Surely the Hulk wasn't scared, but, it does look kind of funny. But when the Hulk did pick up the bear and threw him in the air, the bear did look like he was a little scared stiff. Gee, I hope he doesn't get mad at me. I mean, I'm not trying to insult him or anything. Gee, maybe I should mention the time that he wore like these sock-looking tights on his feet? Nah, I better not mention that. Whoa, big guy, just kidding, okay?
Something's overpowering my muscles. I can't seem to control them.
In the episode Super Friends vs. Super Friends, Aquaman has been captured. Or has he?
It's been over an hour and there's no sign of Aquaman or the diving bell. It's been over an hour and there's no sign of Aquaman or the diving bell.
The signal ring locator should spot him anywhere on Earth.
He's right there, for crying out loud.
Oh, the radar screens. There's no sign of him.
Seriously, he's right there.
Aquaman's ring is either malfunctioning or something is trapping its beam.
How could you not see him?
We'll split up and search.
He was standing right next to you.
You two stay here. If you receive any message from Aquaman, contact us immediately.
Okay, that had to be an intentional goof, right? They meant to do that. This next goof, Perry White didn't think was very funny. Now, in one scene, Clark Kent and Perry White are locked in a couple of steamers by some bad guys, and White passes out. Clark Kent busts out of the steamer, and the wooden top basically blows up and whacks White in the side of the head. Now check out the look on his face that he makes while he's supposedly passed out.
Has everybody around here gone crazy?
Holy head bumps, Batman! Lynda Carter was a real-life doll. I mean, but sometimes she was literally a real-life doll. At least when she was flying the invisible jet as Wonder Woman. Adam West had poor peripheral vision when wearing the Batman mask, and he ended up bumping his head against the archway leading to Lord Fogg's dungeon while on his way to rescue Batgirl from delivering a knockout blow. In this scene, it looks like a stunt woman is being launched in the air and then they're cutting away to Lynda Carter for the close-up. But what the heck is that dark figure in the background? Is it Bigfoot? I mean, is it a ghost? Is it just a stagehand helping her be launched into the air? What is going on here? You be the judge. And here's one where Lee Majors is rescuing a teenager, but as soon as he jumps in the air, the teenager turns into an inaccurately sized dummy. Now, another goof involving stuffed dummies that I found was on the episode When the Rat's Away, the Mice Will Play, because Robin doesn't look quite the same anymore, or Batman for that matter. Thankfully, normal eventually. In the last season of The Adventures of Superman, Superman faces an atomic bomb blast. But the way he deals with it, it just appears that he's just flying around waving his arms around back and forth. And somehow that makes the blast go backwards.
Why, it is Superman. He's reversing the explosion. He's driving it back into the ground.
But the funniest thing is, that nuclear bomb blast knocks over Jimmy and Lois's car, and they're still standing.
Superman!
Over the SP oil reserves in Saudi Arabia.
We've got to try to stop him. Come on.
What in blazing kryptonite is happening here?
Next, let's look at intentional goofs, or basically funny scenes that were meant to be funny, from superhero TV shows. In The Greatest American Hero, Ralph Hinckley is a reluctant hero and a down-to-earth school teacher that feels embarrassed to wear superhero tights. And who could blame him? In this hilarious scene, he finds himself faced with a phone booth.
Never. Oh, what the hell?
Shoot, I bet even Superman would have laughed at that. Clark's on the phone with Lois, and she keeps trying to tell him that Jimmy Olsen is in trouble.
Jimmy's in jail and he's going to be shot at sundown.
Lois, I'm very busy.
He's not really interested.
And he's gunning for Jimmy.
Tell him to go on a diet. He'll be harder to hit.
Until she mentions, well, listen for yourself. It cracks me up every time I see it.
Besides putting Jimmy in jail, this character's been making goo-goo eyes at me.
He's been doing what?
Yeah, you can throw Jimmy Olsen in jail, but brother, when you make googly eyes at Lois Lane, it's on.
That's different. I'll be right out.
I wonder how Ralph made out with the phone booth. Surely they wouldn't do the old banana peel gag, do you think? You know, I love this kind of entertainment. The one thing the Hulk does not believe in, and that's drinking and rampaging.
There you go. Ain't that good?
The Hulk really hates phones.
How dare you keep me waiting? I'm warning you, George, if you're not back here in 20 minutes with an appropriate gift of apology, I'm calling my lawyer! And here is why the Hulk really hates phones.
You don't want this to hurt any more than it has to.
And the directory assistance operator will answer. Thank you.
Yes, this is an emergency. I have to have the police.
I can't do that, sir.
What?
I don't have any way to dial out here.
Now this is why the classic Hulk series is so good. Because you pit superheroes against common ordinary things like phones and rude operators. Much more entertaining sometimes than supergalactic threats.
Look, do you have the number of the police?
Yes, but there are several of them. Can you tell me what area?
I don't care. Any number. Just give me any one of them. So, could you please connect me to that number?
I'm not equipped to do that, sir. But if you'll just hang up.
Please deposit 25 cents for the first 3 minutes.
I don't have 25 cents!
Boy, Bill Bixby was such a great actor. You could just literally feel the tension.
Are you there?
You know, there's a commercial in there somewhere. Now, I remember when I was a kid watching this, my dad was in the room, and he was, of course, he was watching it too. And I remember this part where the old drunk says he ate the bones and all. My dad cracked up laughing. I mean, he must have laughed for 10 minutes straight.
Bones and all. He ate the whole thing, bones and all.
No, don't eat the bottle.
Don't eat it. It's glass.
Now, you might not think of the time when the $6 Million Man fought the Bionic Bigfoot for the first time as a comedic event, but there is one line that Lee Major says that just puts a smile on my face every time I hear it.
Can you understand me? Are you a man?
Well, you see, Steve Austin taught us that you've always got to be friendly, even when you're faced with a, I don't know, was he 9 feet tall giant monster? You know.
Are you a man? Well, it never hurts to ask.
And that it never hurts to ask, unless you're talking to a giant Bigfoot and he hits you really hard.
Clothes.
Now, Batman is the world's greatest detective, and yet he and Robin seem oblivious to the fact that their costumes make them stand out as anything other than everyday, ordinary crime fighters today. Of course, this is done for a laugh, but shouldn't Batman know better? Did you know that the Super Friends inspired Ralph Hinckley, the greatest American hero, way back in 1981?
Superman, Batman and Robin, to truth, justice, and peace for all mankind.
I, TV Crazy Man, hope y'all understand I pick out these goofs of my favorite TV shows, not to mock them, but to learn how things were done back in the day of the golden age of television. I'm sure Batman wouldn't think I was doing anything wrong. Right, Batman?
Poor devil. Feel it's my duty not only to catch him, but with all the medical know-how at our command, to help that sorry creature back to a normal way of life.
Well, anyway, don't forget to hit the like and let me know what you think in the comments below. If you hit the bell, you're less likely to miss any new videos.